And welcome to the show. My name is David Dadakian with Eat, Drink, Rhode Island. And today with me are the co-owners, co-presidents. I don't know your exact titles there, but we can find that out. Kelley McShane and Nick Carr of the Granny Squibb Company.
Hi.
Hey. Hello. Nice to see you here today, as it is.
Thank you for having us. This is so fun.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Obviously, the Granny Squibb Company has been around for many years and has always been near and dear to my heart since the launch many years ago with Robin, and now since the two of you have taken it on. Why don't we start with, where you came from? How did you arrive here? Where'd you grow up? Your families, that sort of thing. Tell us a bit about the two of you.
You want to go first?
Sure. So I grew up in Rhode Island. I think like a lot of people who grew up here, I couldn't wait to get out when I turned 18. And then I did that.
Yeah, I did that as well.
I went to college in upstate New York, in Ithaca, and loved it out there, and spent 5 or 6 years out there. And I noticed when I would come home to visit my parents, I'd drive to the beach first. And so couldn't wait to get out and couldn't wait to get home once school is over. So I've been back ever since and loving it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I was born in Connecticut. I grew up in New Jersey, right outside of Morristown, actually on a hay farm. I went to boarding school in Connecticut, and then in Rhode Island. I actually graduated from Portsmouth Abbey over on Aquidneck. And then went out to San Francisco, took some time off in LA, moved to Vermont, New York, and then back to Rhode Island probably 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Met this one and decided to stay.
I understand that story very well. Yeah, spent some time away and then came back and found my wife.
Yep.
Exactly. So this is definitely home for us.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful spot, and I'm sure, Nick, you saw the same sort of things I did. It improved as we were away.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were never really in the food and beverage industry. So I mean, obviously, Providence, for a city its size, I think we're really spoiled when it comes to how good the restaurants are and how good the food is. So, we go other places and just the food's better here. But we were kind of one thing when we got involved with Granny Squibbs that we didn't expect was not only is the food and beverage scene here so good,
highest quality,
but it's also so incredibly supportive. I mean, the whole joke about in Rhode Island, like everybody knows everybody in 3 different ways, and there's obviously competition. There's a small enough pool of customers that everyone's kind of going for the same customers, but it has not been, in our experience at least, there hasn't been any like sharkiness or we came on the scene and like John from Yacht Club Soda, who you'd think 2 soft drinks, but he has been nothing but like a mentor and supportive, and everyone we come across.
Well, John doesn't have a bad bone in his body. John's one of the sweetest guys.
He's the absolute best.
Yeah. But everyone we come across just wants to help out. So it's been super, super great getting involved in that whole community.
Well, the wonderful thing is, and we can talk about it some more, because obviously you've participated in a lot of this, is the collaboration aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Like you said, there's not really competition. Even similar products is not really competition. The beer guys get along. Even restaurants of the same type, the chefs get along. It's not, and I will say, I don't know how much you've experienced in other spots, but I've done some work in Boston and New York, and it's not quite the same.
Right.
No. I mean, they're not like, knifing each other in Boston, but they're not quite as friendly.
They're not hanging out on Friday night, maybe.
Right.
There's definitely a team feel. We are so small, and if all of us are thriving, we all thrive.
Exactly.
People are buying Yacht Club Soda. If people are buying New Harvest coffee, that keeps money in our community. We're all sharing each other's social media posts. Actually, Yacht Club Soda and New Harvest and a lot of others are on our website directly.
Little New Harvest iced coffee right here. There you go.
We have New Harvest every day.
So do I. Again, another wonderfully nice human being. I mean, it's just, it's wonderful to see these companies grow. And same, with yours. I mean, I've loved watching the evolution of Granny Squibb. It's nice to see a good product with good people become successful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really, really fun. And for a couple years before we joined Robin at the company, Nick and I had been looking for an opportunity to work together, to grow a business. And, we needed a good product. We needed a good story. Granny Squibbs has that. We also wanted a company whose values were in line with ours. Robin for years has given back to the community. And we loved that and we supported that. And so it was a fairly easy transition into the company.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's wonderful to see. That's my one regret is I don't see Robin as much anymore. I used to see Robin all the time. And now we message here and there, we'll email and, we catch up. But
well, she was running the show all on her own for
I know.
years and years. So it's good to have a bigger team to.
Oh, absolutely. No, she was thrilled to death. Believe me, she was, it's not a regret on her part by any means.
It's actually funny too. I don't know if you know this, but we live in the same building.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so she's actually right downstairs on the first floor, and we're on the fourth floor.
Speaking of Rhode Island, it's the most Rhode Island story how we got involved. Kelley and I were both doing other things, and one day we were walking. Robin and I were walking into the building together, and basically was just like, "Hey, you know anybody who wants an iced tea company?" She, like I said, she'd been doing it on her own for years. I think it was just a stressful day. I took it as a joke. I came upstairs and we were talking to Kelley, and kind of the light bulb went off because
we were like, wait a minute.
We knew the product.
Serious?
Yeah, we knew it was good. It was a good product. And so we decided, like, let's talk to Robin about this. Yeah. And we went down and knocked on her door.
Nick came upstairs, told me she said that. We walked right downstairs, knocked on her door, and we're like, are you serious?
Yeah.
How do we do this?
That's great. That's fantastic. I love that. No, I absolutely love that. And yeah, I mean, it is a lot. I mean, like you said, it's a growing company. Obviously you want to get the product out in as many places as you can. And that's, you need a team. You need support staff. And I mean, it's just, like you said, if you'd ask John or Rick or any of the folks doing beverage distribution and sales and all of that, because I'll talk to John when he's out on the road and it's like, you're going where? You go, how many cases of this, pallets, loading of this? It's a lot. Mm-hmm. And now, but where are you canning the product currently? Because is it still?
Well, we have two co-packers. So we have the two formats. Will you grab one of those cans? We have the glass bottles, the traditional one. So our co-packer is in Wayne County, New Jersey. And then we have the cans, which are made out of Noble in New Hampshire. So we're working really hard to get that production in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We have some cool things coming up, which I can't talk about now, but.
No, I understand. That has been a long goal for many folks here in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And I know John's been trying to help as many people as possible with that, and Sean and other folks that we know. But yeah, to try and get as much of it here in Rhode Island as possible. I mean, it's great to see. There's all these baby steps. Like it took Narragansett beer a long time, but they're strong here now and only getting stronger with the spot in Providence being built.
Oh, how exciting is that?
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah.
So that's right in our neighborhood. We will be able to walk to the new.
Sure.
Down in Indian Point.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
I
know.
But another great example, of someone who obviously Mark was in the beverage business before this, but who came along and revived a strong Rhode Island brand. So it's and like you said, not competitive at all. It's very nice to see something like that happening. So where were the two of you before iced tea?
Well, I had a tutoring business. So I taught linear algebra, calculus, and number theory to students at Brown or PC or
she's a smart one.
I'm good at math. I like math.
That's important.
So I was doing that and then working at Amos House, just doing volunteer work and internships and that kind of stuff. So, and you're actually very involved in Amos House as well.
I try to be. I think as we see throughout Rhode Island, there's so much need and so many charities, and it's so hard to choose. So I've tended to gravitate towards the one that are food oriented, just because of my background and music as well. I volunteer with the Philharmonic, just my own passion. But there's it's hard. It's there's so many charities, especially in the food business. I think it's unfortunately a natural request to food companies from charities. And so, you get hit with it all the time, as I'm sure you do. And so, I try to focus on the ones that are food. The food bank in Amos House is obviously very important to me. And the staff at Amos House are wonderful.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're absolutely amazing. And I mean, it's just run so brilliantly. And every single dollar that goes in there, you can track, where it's going. And the program, started as a soup kitchen. And now there's 20 different programs that are helping all these different sectors where there's a need. And it's brilliant.
It's wonderful to see. And I always tell people about the catering aspect of it as well, because I think that's a great way for them to make income. Plus they're really talented. Nick's a good friend and that whole kitchen is impressive.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
And how about you, Nick? Where were you before Iced Tea?
Sure. So I was a financial advisor with Bank RI for a couple of years. Before that, I was with Gunnis Financial. They're out. They were based in Barrington. They're now in Warren. I was in the finance world for years.
The suit and tie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The first day I got to, yeah. No beard at the time. That was really, really great. And it actually was kind of a great, education on the business climate in Rhode Island in general. Mm-hmm. I got to work with, it's funny, I got to work with some of the folks that we come across now.
Bank RI has been a very good asset for a lot of food businesses.
Yeah. So it was great. Yeah. A lot of the skills have translated. Some of them haven't. It was a great education and kind of a hard left turn.
So were you at Bank RI when you had that conversation with Robin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How was the conversation with your boss when you went to say, "Okay, I'm out of here"?
It was actually really great. Everyone at Bank Rhode Island was super, super supportive and excited, and
Was it that moment? Because I have these moments all the time where I'll mention my company name and whoever it is like, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram." "Oh, I went to your festival." Did you go into the office and I'm buying Granny Squibb, and they're like, "Oh, I drink that tea."
Kind of, yeah. It's, I was really nervous to have the conversation. One, because, I felt so fortunate to be there. It was a great position and a great sort of community of people there. It was a little bit interesting. I don't think anybody expected that to, least of all.
Of all the choices, right? Yeah.
Right.
I think it's always easier, from folks that I talk to. I assume it's easier. I haven't done this myself, but to say you're leaving somewhere for something of your own than I'm leaving here to go be an advisor somewhere else.
It was kind of cool that your team was extremely supportive. I mean, that first summer that we joined the company, so this was 2 summers ago. Nick's team would show up at the events that we were at and just be like, "Hey," especially everyone was like, "Yeah, you're doing it." Nice,
very nice. That's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like you said. Everyone wants to. I think that's part of that Rhode Island thing where it's it's a small place, so people get excited when they see something they know. When you see something on TV and someone mentions Rhode Island, you get all excited. Or you see, someone sees Viola Davis and they talk about her. It's like, okay, I mean, we don't know Viola Davis, but sure, that's nice. It's wonderful. It's nice in that way.
Speaking of, did you see? So Industrious Spirit Company?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So did you see during COVID the segment they got on Seth Meyers?
Yeah, that was wonderful. I love that.
We were there at breakfast one day. We were just like watching that, and they mentioned Rhode Island. And we were like, "Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?"
Yeah.
It was Isco. That was awesome.
No, it was absolutely fantastic to see that. And I mean, there's so many great stories like that. I mean, obviously that's what I try to do all the time, and it's almost overwhelming how many good stories there are here. It's like, there's so much to tell people about. And yes, of course, there's good stories like that all over the country, all over the world. I'm not going to say there isn't, but we're here. This is our place.
These are our stories.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, we could be the ones to stand up and shout and say these things here. But so you mentioned it's been a couple summers ago. Not to dwell much on it, but this year's a lot different. What are you doing in lieu of all these different events this year? What are you trying to do?
Well, I mean, so it's hard. March came around. We had, I think it was like 130 events planned for this whole year, and all of them, every hour, we were getting an email being like canceled. And we are a highly, highly experiential marketing company.
Right.
We like doing events, demos, tastings. We like meeting people. We like interacting with our clients and our accounts. And so our entire marketing and sales plan was just thrown out the window overnight. So that was a huge, huge shock for us. So I want to say struggle, but our team really came together. So now we're just doing. We really upped our digital marketing. So Emma, our director of digital marketing, Emma Haskell, just really, really showed up for us. And so we.
I can't keep up with her posts.
I know.
It's great. No, I mean that in a positive way. I definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing that. We've just been trying to stay connected to our community by just making calls, reaching out in every way we can. We've been doing a lot of contactless deliveries just for like tastings so that we can get people to keep trying our iced tea.
Yeah, and we've with Farm Fresh, with their Market Mobile being opened up to the public, we've seen a huge uptick through that. Also, What's Good, kind of a similar, and so that's been I think people have discovered that kind of service is available out of necessity, and I think they're getting used to it, and they're figuring out how to make it sort of a part of their normal life.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see that, once people, now that things are opening up a little bit, sort of knock on wood, we are seeing the orders start to come back in a little bit, and
it's amazing.
But we have every reason to, there's a lot of things I think people got used to because they had to, that all of a sudden, for instance, right now we're interviewing on Zoom, and I think before, for a long time people thought that would be a huge switch, and I think it took like 18 hours and everybody's doing it, and so
kind of,
yeah. So I think a lot of those sort of home delivery services that people thought were a pain, they're realizing, oh, it's not a pain. That's actually really convenient. So
right.
That's been up.
Online orders have been up, which is great. And then now that people are getting used to this format, organizations and events are they're getting creative. So, for instance, things like Folk Fest is doing like a Folk Fest box for people that bought tickets and still want to, put their money towards the festival foundation. So we're now reaching out to all the organizers being like, if you're doing something like this, we still want to be a part of it. We still want to put our iced tea in, our koozies, our stickers, in any way we can get the name out there.
Yeah. And along the same lines, people, restaurants figuring out how to stay open, and with a lot of people doing takeout now, in the past, having that, having a like essentially single serve packaged good, some restaurants, some bars who use it as an ingredient in cocktails, it was sort of like, well, if we could get it in a big format, that makes more sense. But now that everyone's doing takeout, actually being able to just take it out of the case, put it in the package, it's actually sort of swung in our favor a little bit.
Yeah, very good point.
So yeah, we've been really excited to work with some bars and stuff, working on cocktails and that's the fun stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Fun.
But it's interesting, you talk about tasting, and I think this is something, again, unique to the food and drink business. You got to give away product, especially small local products, and get people to taste it so that they like it, so they want to buy it. And I mean, I know, from so many companies I work with, the amount of product you have to give away can be really immense. And obviously it's tasty, but still it adds up. And so you can't do that right now. Obviously, it's that aspect of it is really not there. So are you finding are people? I know all these products over the years. They grow. I mean, that's what everyone wants to see. Is it still the same growth right now, or do you think it's just kind of in different avenues?
Well, in terms of just raw sort of sales numbers, I'd say like 90% of our customers had to close their doors. So and also, for better or worse, we are much more popular in the summer than we are in the winter.
Sure.
Iced tea. So
March and April are
March and April are big months where people are kind of stocking up for the summer and placing their orders. And none of those were coming in. We're starting to see them start back up now. So in that sense, I think everybody else, sort of the year-over-year numbers aren't thrilling to look at, but
we didn't meet our goals. But I mean, considering there was a global pandemic.
Well, as I said, that's a right. Yes. No.
In terms of sort of the brand recognition, which is hopefully that's the driver of those other numbers. Like Kelley was saying, our director of digital marketing, Emma Haskell, has been crushing it. And so in terms of the brand recognition, I don't think we've slowed down. Mm-hmm. It's tough when you can't just, like you said, put that bottle in someone's hand and break that first barrier.
Yeah.
But
right.
And one thing that was kind of interesting, and this was not our intention, we realized this kind of at the end of April, but so once COVID-19 hit and we saw this need of the food insecurity rising and organizations stepping up to deliver meals and provide meals, our team got together and we were like, we can help. What do we have? We have iced tea. Let's add it to these meals. So we reached out to a lot of organizations to donate iced tea. And when we did the math at the end of April, we were like, all right, in 2019, we had about 1,000 iced teas that we used for tastings. This year we had 12,000 iced teas out there. We were like, we're still out there. So
yeah, that is huge.
Yeah, and that wasn't our intention, but it was like kind of
no. And I think let's talk about that for a bit, because I think that's something. Like you said, Robin started, and something I try very hard to make a charitable part of every one of my events, and a lot of people out there do. But you do a great amount of charitable work. It's really nice to see. I know you've worked hard at that to get it more out there. I know it's from my own personal perspective, there's always that tricky, do I shout about what I'm doing, or obviously I want to push the charities that I'm working with and talk about the charities I'm working with, but it's how much of it is too much, that sort of thing. But so let's talk about some of the charities that you support, because we talked about Amos House already, which I know you've still supported for years. Who else are you involved with?
Well, our big one is Save the Bay.
Right.
So a portion of our proceeds all the time goes to Save the Bay for the cranberry flavors. We actually have their.
Right.
And that started with Robin, because I remember going to some Save the Bay fundraisers at her home.
Yeah.
Yeah. She started that relationship years and years ago, and they've been a great longstanding partner.
Mm-hmm. And then we also work with Gloria Gemma. We also, during COVID, we worked with the Rhode Island Coalition, House of Hope, Hope in Maine.
Excellent.
Sojourner House.
Yeah.
Great charity. Yeah, I've worked with them as well.
So pretty much we set aside, we budgeted, figured out what we could give. we put that aside, and then literally, this seems so simple, but we just went on Facebook, put it out, and we're like, hey, organizations that want iced tea, we've got it. And then it just kept coming in.
Yeah.
So,
and
which is great,
kind of to your point, we did kind of go back and forth with, we don't want to come off as if we're trying to capitalize on a crisis or anything like that. But at the end of the day, like Kelley was saying, we're an iced tea company. That's how we can help. That's what we've got. So, and it was more important to help than not. And obviously, we had those conversations, but we decided just.
I think 99.99% of the people out there recognize that.
Yeah.
It's but I think to your point about just putting it out there and people saying, yeah, I'll take that, sure. The need is so huge. I mean, it's just it's overwhelming how much need there is, and obviously we're not going to change the world with food and drink, but we can come close to trying. I mean, that's the nice thing about it. I mean, everyone does eat and drink, so whatever value,
it's a human necessity. People don't need iced tea specifically.
Well, I mean, it's it's certainly a great drink to have. It's something people like. You've got variety, so it's not just a bottle of water. It's a lot. I think it's a lot better than that. Than to be able to offer something like that. And now you have the cans and the bottles. What made the decision to go with cans?
Well, we'd been talking about it for a while beforehand, but then the impetus was, so we joined on with Folk Fest, and we had done negotiations. That was the biggest event we've done, kind of by far. So we're doing about a month of negotiations. We're like, yeah, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? How's this little baby company going to be able to do a Folk Fest event? And so we went back and forth for a while, and then finally the last call, I'm about to sign the contract, and the organizers are like, oh yeah, last thing they said, they're like, and obviously, you can't have glass at Fort Adams. And I was like, totally knew that, not a problem, hang up. I was like, shit, we have to make cans. So that's kind of what pushed us really quickly to make cans. But we had been talking about it because it opens up so many new channels for us.
Right.
You can't have glass on beaches, in stadiums, on ferries, which is what you do in the summer.
Golf courses, camping, and schools. There's
absolutely.
All the places that you can't have glass, that it makes a lot of sense for us to be, because it's a grab and go thing that you can take outside and take anywhere you want to go. So we were thinking, well, we got to make it so you can actually take it to those places. Yeah. And then that Folk Fest phone call kind of accelerated the timeline there.
I think that's the driving force for a lot of small businesses. Is absolute make or break for some sort of deal contract.
We did this yesterday.
Yeah,
right, exactly. No, I know. I've had that conversation with John where he got a contract to do some private label, and he's like, "Oh, I got to figure out this formula." It's like now, it's like I was like, okay, you got to be creative sometimes. So that's great that you were able to find it. What are you finding from the casual user out there, not at these events, a preference between cans and bottles?
It really depends. I mean, groceries, so our Whole Foods accounts, the Dave's Marketplace, they prefer the bottles.
Yep.
At events, people definitely prefer cans. There's a lot of accounts that just won't accept glass, or vice versa. So
and it's also relatively new. It came out kind of at the end of last summer, and then with the challenges this year. So yeah, the cans are still pretty new. People are still kind of learning about it, but it's always the thrill when you kind of you're out in the wild and you see it on the shelf somewhere. So we're seeing them out there more and more. Yeah. So I think people are getting used to the idea, and that's really exciting.
Well, I think it's also, as funny as this is to say this, it's been a technology shift too. not only yourself, but I know New Harvest has a cold brew in a can. I think Borealis just started doing one.
We have the craft beer world to thank for rehabilitating the can.
Right, exactly.
All of a sudden, you can still have an upmarket kind of product in a can. So that opens up a whole lot of
right. It got easier and better to use these cans, and weight wise, carbon footprint. Obviously, there's that aspect of it. So I think it's great to see when something can have all these great benefits and carry your product. I mean, obviously that's the bottom line. Though it's funny, I've had this conversation with many of the craft beer guys. I obviously it's part marketing, part sales, but I know the answer, but I still miss 12-ounce beers occasionally. Like every now and then I'll get a big stout, I got, like Zumber from Proclamation, and it's like, once I'm done with that whole 16 ounces or Sean's Elder Dweller, which I love to death, it's my favorite stout, but it's like that 16 ounces is 9%. It's like, what am I drinking? It's like, can I get 12 of this?
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I don't see many 12 ounces anymore. I don't know. I think Suns might be the only one who still does some 12-ounce cans because they do the cocktails too.
Gray Sail does some. Yeah. Whalers does some.
That's right. Whalers and Gray Sail. You're right. They do. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot about that. They do still have the smaller cans.
But it is funny. Yeah, when you get beer, even like when I grab Gray Sail or Whalers, I'm like little babies. Like I'm so used to the big ones.
The Whalers and the 12 is great because it's almost, I don't want to say easy drinking, but it's a good beer for that size.
Yeah, they're great. I love their packaging.
I mean, we've got so many great companies here that have done such a beautiful job. It's so nice to see. Again, like I said, I know there's places all over the country that have local products and things of that nature, but ours are the best.
Ours is the best. Right. It's so simple.
So you've got the Mojito Lime, which is my favorite. So that's my drink. Lemon, cranberry.
Those are our 3 flavors, and we offer all 3 of those in sweetened and unsweetened versions.
Right. Got anything new planned? Working on stuff. See the pause.
We've been talking to we've got some new stuff planned. Nothing finalized yet.
Sure.
But we love to hear a lot of people. When we were still doing public events, everyone loves to chime in with what their favorite idea for the next one should be. So we've gotten a ton of great ideas, and we've got some stuff in the works.
Nice. And let's talk about the cocktail aspect of it, because that's big. And again, you've been able to partner with a lot of great local folks as well, which is always a huge benefit for both brands, I think. Who you working with? Who's making what right now? Because there's so many different options.
Well, yesterday, ISCO made a slushy cocktail with our lemon iced tea and their vodka, and it's delicious. Please go. It'll be on the menu for a week.
Fantastic.
We also have a collaboration with Rhode Island Spirits, with Rhodium. We have a cocktail on the menu at Nick's on Broadway, and it's the Rhode Island iced tea. It's our cranberry iced tea mixed with their vodka and limoncello, garnished with mint.
Very nice.
We have at Hot Club, there's a cocktail on the menu with us and Newport Craft, their vodka. So that's our cranberry iced tea. The cranberry mixes very well with vodka. Just
right. I was just saying it's one of those easy ones. And the lime with rum in my, I'll do it at home. It's an easy mix. It's a nice quick mix.
Yeah. We also just collaborated with Troop to create a Black Lives Matter cocktail.
Yes, saw that. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So that is, let's see, what are the ingredients? It's tequila, it's blackberry liqueur, it's Granny Squibb's cranberry iced tea and a splash of soda. And so we wanted to support the movement in any way we can. We have iced tea. So we were thinking about what we were going to do. We wanted to team up with a Black-owned business organization that we looked at your website, Eat Drink RI, looked through the list. We saw Troop, who are already our really, really good friends. We knew their values were in line. We knew that if we donated, they would also match that donation. So we teamed up with them, and every month we're picking a different organization to give the proceeds to. So it's $4 from every cocktail is going to go to a different organization.
Right. And I know this month is Sister Fire, which is a great organization I'm familiar with, because their founder was actually a Rhode Island Foundation fellow like myself. So I get to see that start from the ground up. It's a wonderful project, Sister Fire. So
they're
I'll
awesome.
link all that up when I post this. Definitely get that out there, share that. So anyone out there watching, head to Troop and get the Black Lives Matter cocktail to support and enjoy a drink. It's a win for everyone.
Right.
It's nice to see. But I think back to the cocktails. I think the challenge again is the tasting, and it's wonderful to see that restaurants can sell cocktails and takeout and all that. And have you seen much growth in an avenue in that region with being able to do takeout cocktails and things of that nature?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big kind of opportunity for us. Beforehand, obviously we knew personally how well it mixed with things just from experimenting on our own, and along with sort of more grab and go restaurant places, we knew that being an ingredient sort of behind the bar was a great thing to do. So we've that has been kind of exciting to see, and I know other states kind of started doing the delivery and takeaway cocktails a little bit earlier, and that when Rhode Island caught up and started doing it, we've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, our liquor laws here are a little difficult at times. I'm not going to go down that route. I've had that conversation with many folks at the State House, and it's interesting to see. But hopefully, we can change some of those. Hopefully, fortunately, all these things that have happened in the last few months, maybe there's a small silver lining in that we can change some of these regulations.
One of the early ones we did, right when they started doing that, we our friends over at the Royal Bobcat on Atwell's. Mm-hmm. It's just been a whole lot of fun being able to stop by and
good. Yeah, gorgeous spot. I hope. I know they opened just a few, short time before all this happened.
Perfect timing, yeah.
I know, but it's a gorgeous place, and I hope that as people get back out there, they check out the Royal Bobcat, because it's a beautiful, wonderful cocktails, and the food was delicious too.
Oh my gosh, Hungry Kitchen is amazing.
I was quite impressed. I learned to cook in the South. I cook a lot of Southern food myself, and she made a great gumbo. And the po' boy.
The best gumbo I've ever had. My whole family's from New Orleans, and
oh, really?
Yeah. So Jenny Han of Hanju Kitchen came by actually a couple times in the fall to our office to try out her gumbo or her po' boys, and which was awesome.
Yeah.
And it's the best gumbo I have ever had. She puts this beautiful spin on it, and
it's really fantastic. So
I thought Cajun Korean fusion, and I thought, how are they going to make this work? And they made it work.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely it works. It works completely. The kimchi mac and cheese is just a great combo. I think as people, it's funny, 10, 15, 20 years ago, these ingredients weren't as available. And so now that people have these tastes for these flavors, they want them. So it's great to see that they could be avenues for this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of avenues for this, do you do any farmers markets or anything like that? Or is that too much for a company your size?
Well, at this point, we would love to do farmers markets, but all last year, we just focused on events. So our schedule, we couldn't really commit to every Saturday or every Sunday. Right. We would love to this year.
I know. I just, again, a silver lining that happened to come out of all this is that the farmers markets and the local sales has been huge. It's great to see. And I know just my own experience with the farms that I work with and the farmers market that I run that just started last Sunday was packed. Socially distanced, everyone was 6 feet apart and polite and nice and all that, but it was busy. It was really busy. And so it's great to see people coming out and buying local like that. I think, like you said, the What's Good app and Farm Fresh ordering has been very successful as well because of this. People are realizing that there's a lot more out there. Now, what I keep telling everyone is all right, now we got to hold them. We have to keep all these people buying, local meat, local pro, we can't let them go back to Stop and Shop. No offense to Stop and Shop. I shop at Dave's, so I could feel good about keeping that business going. But I don't care if people go to Stop and Shop.
Well, it's also cool too, the, talking about the collaborative stuff, with the farmers market up on Main Street up in Pawtucket, Hope Artist Village.
Yeah, right, Hope Artist. Now it's at Lippert Park, right?
Right, exactly. And Rick at New Harvest, they have that long-standing presence there that we never did. But he put Granny Squibbs right on the table. So we're very lucky to have friends and partners like that.
Yeah, he's wonderful like that. I'm blanking on the name right now. The tea company that he supported for a while. She's done very well for herself. A hot tea. He was selling the tea. Oh shoot. Unfortunately, I'm blanking on the name, but if I can't remember, I will. But it was just nice to see. I would walk up and he's like, "Hey, this is not my product. It had nothing to do with tea, but there's this woman who's created this tea company. Do you want to try some tea?" And I think it's, again, that collaborative nature, that desire to see successful products is wonderful. And Rick's built. I love Rick's business. It was so much fun. So I'm normally out every day. Obviously, before this all happened, I out every day, and I would get an iced coffee at either, I try to share the love at either New Harvest or Dave's or the Nook in East Greenwich is a favorite spot of mine. Mm-hmm. But when this all happened, I was at home and I have, I buy like a bag of New Harvest beans every now and then, but I was making it every day and I was like, okay, I need coffee. So I went on the website and ordered a 5-pound bag of beans. And a couple of days later, I get an email, okay, your order is going to be delivered tomorrow. Look for it around this time. And around 11 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, Rick pulled into my driveway. It was so great. I was like, hey, how you doing, man? So he stood in the driveway. The two of us stood for him. My wife came out because obviously she's known him for years as well. Yeah. And the three of us chatted for a while. And, this was like, I don't know, middle of April, beginning of April. But that's the beauty of these companies. It's really nice. It was.
Yeah, I'm making a delivery as soon as we're done.
Where are you off to today?
I'm going down to Warren and to Bywater.
Oh, cool! Great spot.
Yeah, they're trying it out and
Smoke and Squeal,
which
is a great barbecue place over by Hope Artiste.
Yep.
Madeiras. Yep. Over on Ives Street.
Over in Fox Point.
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Bywater's a great little spot. I don't get over there as often. It's more of a neighborhood spot, and we're in Coventry, so but they're super nice folks. And really, really good food.
Absolutely. I
have a love for the Irish and all that. So I know he's got some great cuisine. His brown bread's fantastic, and that should be nice. That should be a nice fit for products.
Any excuse I get to have to drive through the East Bay is
that's one
it's
thing.
A good day. Yeah.
Doing deliveries in Rhode Island, it's the most beautiful place to just drive around, crossing the bridges.
And do you have I haven't seen, do you have a branded vehicle at all?
No, we have our Jeep and we have magnets.
Okay.
That we don't actually really put on. That'll be our next.
Yeah, no, that seems to be like the route to go. I mean, it's fun when I see, either the Revival truck or Yacht Club on the road. I'll see Yacht Club on the road and wave to Brad if he's in the truck, or John if he's doing it himself that day.
Yeah, whenever we see a Yacht Club soda truck, we just take a picture and we're like, John, they're working hard. We're monitoring them.
Exactly. And well, like I said, New Harvest has the branded van, and so there's more of that out there. Marathon Bread just got himself one. And he makes some really brilliant bread. He's here in Coventry, and I used to work out of Hope in Maine. So now I see that one It's fun. So yeah, if it's in the budget, I get completely.
Especially because once COVID hit, we also opened up like a delivery service. So we were delivering to homes, all that, and we were just taking our cars, and so now all of our cars are just destroyed.
Maybe it is time for a Sprinter van and
But track those miles, get that deduction.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all of that. Yeah, no, it can be wear and tear, obviously. So
yeah.
But that's a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I understand. You grow the business where you can. So you mentioned online orders. Do you find many orders outside of the area that you're shipping?
Yeah, I mean, the past couple of months we've shipped to California, we've shipped to Texas, to Florida. Florida, we have a very weird. It's like pretty popular.
It's Rhode Island South in many ways. I don't know if
it's definitely people who get it when they're home in the summertime, and then they get nostalgic in the winter and live up a case or two. Yeah. And
it's really fun. A lot of people down there really engage with us, so they'll email info and be like, "We got to get it down here. How do we get it down here?" I'm like, "I'll send you some." So I'll place the order for them, and then we continue talking and like talking about different restaurants and what's going on here, and it's kind of nice to become friends.
Yeah, I've hooked a lot of people on Dave's coffee syrup around the country, and which he ships all over the place, and it's one of those things. In fact, there was just someone. Oh, it was Alton Brown, who again one of those moments you're like, oh, cool. He did a video recently about the whipped. I don't know if you've seen the phenomenon. I forget what it's called. The Royale, I think it's called, the whipped coffee drink. Yeah. And he made one and did this little 2-minute segment on YouTube where he made this whipped coffee. And at the end of it, he said, he tasted, he's like, oh, it's kind of like that coffee milk thing they have in Rhode Island. Yes. I'm like, cool. Alton Brown remembers that. Because when he was here, we had tweeted and he got a tour around the state with my friend Grace. And so she got him to try a bunch of different things. And, it's fun. It's nice to see when people want to take that product and get out there with it. It's funny to me that coffee syrup hasn't taken off bigger than it has because it's so versatile. I use it in barbecue sauces, on ice cream. It's one of those products where it's funny how that one has stayed regional.
And coffee culture in general has gotten so robust. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got friends in Seattle that have come and visited that try it and have bought cases and take it back. Like crazy about it. Love it. It's funny how it hasn't boomed as much as some of the other things around. But
I have single-handedly blamed coffee milk though on why every Rhode Islander is addicted to iced coffee all year round. You have it in elementary school.
This is year round. This is not just now. This is year round. Yeah. Oh yeah. Though the massive amounts of cream and sugar I don't do, but and I'm doing the slow. I grind the beans that second and pour it's still. But that was my biggest thing when I was in France, 5 years ago. We were there in July, and I wanted iced coffee, and that's impossible. You can't get that. Right. And I'm like, and I went to this one spot, and the guy behind at the cafe spoke English, so we were talking. I was like, I'm not telling you to make some crap coffee, but I'm like, really good. Like, make a really good espresso like you want to make. Like, do your French press or whatever style you're doing. I like, try it. Trust me, it's really good.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. he's like, you want ice? I was like, yeah. He's like, no. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm not asking for the most radical thing on earth. Like, but that was their thing. So I know you've got to get out there for deliveries, Nick, and this has been a fantastic conversation. I end every episode of the show with this questionnaire that I've kind of taken from James Lipton from the inside the actor studio. I've modified it a little bit. So let's get your answers to a few questions here for the two of you. What is your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Let's see.
Maybe like cake. Like, I love the hard consonants and like what it invokes inside you and how it's a celebration. And, very diverse thing.
I'm going to say summer.
Summer, cute.
Nice. How about your least favorite word?
Banana. It is fun to say. Maybe that's my favorite word. Banana.
I think this is probably the most popular one out there, but moist.
Yep, that is a popular one, yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Working together.
Nice.
On everything, collaborating, having two minds come together and create an idea is just so inspiring. That's what I live on. That's what I love.
You're on the spot now, Nick.
Yeah. I'm going to go in a different direction, but I think curiosity. I think that being able to not only engage in new things, but like stay interested and stay passionate about stuff.
That is so you.
Yeah, so I guess that.
Right. And how about what turns you off?
I'm going to answer for you, boredom.
Boredom. I don't like being bored. I like moving.
Yeah.
People that waste time or like things that waste time. I like indecision, I guess. The whole like thing where people are like, where are we going to go to dinner? And it's,
I don't know.
Discussing. I'm like, it really doesn't matter. All these places are great. Just like, I think that's
truth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is your favorite person? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Nick, you didn't. I apologize. Yeah.
I thought I was going to get away with it. I think the same kind of thing. Sort of. The sort of what's the word? Indecisiveness. Like one. I think it's you got to go one way or the other. You have to be open to correcting yourself if the way you decided to go turned out to be the wrong one. But doing nothing counts as a decision. So you can't decide to keep out of everything. So deciding not to engage is a decision in and of itself. So just picking a road and starting to go down it, and yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah,
that was good.
I was inspired.
I like that.
All right. What is your favorite curse word?
Can we say it?
Yes.
Fuck! That is by far my favorite.
Oh, yeah,
I love it.
The most versatile word in the English language.
Truth. Very true.
It's like you could be like, fuck yeah, like that's awesome. Or like, fuck, I stubbed my toe, It's just very...
Same for you, Nick?
Same thing. Oh, yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
Sorry?
What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of, this is so weird. I hope this isn't creepy, but the people that I love breathing. So like, I love hearing Nick breathing when he's just relaxing, or my dog, when my dog's like over my shoulders and just like snoring. I love that.
That makes sense. Not creepy.
I listen to you breathe.
Well, when you say it like that, I guess.
Don't make it creepy.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I mean, music is a huge part of my life, but I won't count that as a noise, although sometimes. But a foghorn is
cool.
super relaxing to me. My grandmother growing up lived near a foghorn, so very, very relaxing.
Very cool. What sound or noise do you hate?
Like screeching. Like fingernails.
A fork on the bottom of an empty bowl.
Oh, that's the worst.
She does not like that.
That's the worst. Yeah, like a knife on a ceramic plate.
All right.
And I think this one is shared by a lot of people, especially these days in Providence. I like a good fireworks display as much as anybody else, but
Our poor dog.
Yeah.
I my friends in Providence complain about it almost every night. I mean, we get it out here in Coventry too, but it's not.
It seems like it's everywhere this year. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does seem like this year is a big pent up year. I don't know. It's well.
Yeah.
What is your favorite ingredient or flavor?
Garlic. As an ingredient, I put garlic in everything. My mom's side of the family is very Greek, so anything with garlic and oregano and lemon is good to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Pepper. I love pepper. I love spice. Anything spicy, I'm down for.
So we're going to have a garlic pepper iced tea. Is that it?
No, it'll be good. We'll make it good.
I don't know. Kelly turned me on to the spicy cocktail. I always thought that sounded weird, like a savory, spicy.
Oh, no. I love them.
I get it. It's good. Yeah.
The more jalapenos, the more salt, the more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. What's your least favorite ingredient or flavor?
God, I like everything. I'm
the one of the guys who orders everything without tomatoes. I don't hate tomatoes, but if given the option, I leave them off.
Oh, all right.
I certainly don't. Yeah, that's not my least favorite. I
get it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I like pretty much every flavor.
Okay.
Whenever I try to put dill on anything, Kelly tells me not to.
I love dill. It's just he'll put it on like ice cream or like or like eggs. I know eggs and dill go together.
Yeah, that's a nice combo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that I like dill on deviled eggs. But I don't know. Nick's an odd cook. So yeah, the like mixing of flavors. I don't know.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Ooh.
There was a brief time, the yacht restoration school in Newport, I was drooling over because I just thought building and restoring boats would be the coolest thing in the world. Yeah.
Huh.
I would like to be a rock star.
All right.
I'd have to.
You are in your own way, Kelly. You are.
But no, I can see going into like real estate somehow, doing that sort of route. I'd like to do at some point.
Yeah. What profession would you not like to do?
I don't think I would ever want to be in politics. Though I think it's important for all of us.
She's going to be the president someday.
to support causes and to vote and to fight for what we believe in and peacefully protest. I think all of us should definitely be behind that and be political and, decide the way we want our community to be run and then take action to make that happen. I just wouldn't want to be the decision maker. I want to influence the decision maker.
Right. I get that. No, absolutely.
She wants to be the power behind the throne.
Exactly. Right.
Let's see. A profession I wouldn't want to do. Let's see. I don't know. I think I could be happy doing pretty much anything.
Do you want to be a financial advisor again?
I would. Yeah. It was great. It was great.
As long as you're doing something.
Sure.
Doesn't matter what it is. As long as you're doing something, I think we would both be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then the last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What's up? Welcome. Sorry, our dog is jumping upon us. Maybe our dog is there.
I think this is something I've thought of actually before. And I think for me, it would be, welcome to Little Compton. It'll always be June, and the house will never need to be fixed.
Wow, that sounds perfect. Yeah, that sounds really beautiful. Very nice. Well, Kelly and Nick, thank you so much for doing this today. This has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's been really fun.
Our pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's completely my pleasure. This has been a blast, and I look forward to seeing you out there in person very soon.
I know. I think we will.
One day we'll all be able to hug again.
Yes, we will. Yes. Thank you so much. Take care.
David, thank you.
Bye.